You can work hard, earn more, and still stay financially stuck if you don't know and manage four critical numbers. This is why high earners get trapped. And it's principle number 6 in the Build Wealth Your Way life. What you keep matters more than what you make. Welcome to Money, Legacy, and Her, the podcast where ambition meets action and wealth is built with receipts. I'm your host, Darice Rene. Every week, we break down the real money moves, mindset shifts, and bold strategies ambitious women need to create legacy on their terms. This isn't hustle culture, it's power moves only. Let's get into it. You want to know why some people get rich and others stay stuck no matter how hard they work? It's not discipline, it's not hustle, it's that they know numbers most people avoid. So let's talk about it. Nearly 1 in 3 high income earners over $100,000 live paycheck to paycheck. That's according to a study from payments.com in 2023. Here's another. 90% of women believe that they need to know more to feel confident about financial decisions. That's from a UBS Women's Study about investing from 2023. So that means, let's put it into reality, that sister circle you're going out to lunch with, that group of women that you are going to brunch with on the weekends, the women that are sitting around your table from time to time drinking a glass of wine are struggling, and we're not talking about it until today. Let me set the context. I don't want anyone to go into listening to this episode with any kind of guilt or judgment. That's not why we're here. And me, myself included, I have struggled to no end with this concept. And it is still a journey that I'm on today. So I am not doing anything besides preaching to the choir, and that includes me. We all are somewhere on the journey to building wealth. That's why you found this episode. That's why you found this podcast. And that's why you're rocking with me. So, high earners are not failing. It's just that sometimes they fly blindly. And income without management is really just an illusion of progress. So, let's talk about the 4 numbers that quietly decide your financial future. But first, we're going to define this high earner trap because, again, I know it well. I was brand new with money, didn't come from money, and so I did all the things that society told me to do with money until I learned that real hard way. It happens like this. Your income grows, you reach levels that you haven't seen before, and most of us are first generation wealth builders if we're listening to this podcast. And so there hasn't been a blueprint. There wasn't someone that took you under their wing and said, hey, sis, this is how you do it. So your income grew, then your lifestyle expanded. That means the designer bags. That means the luxury car. That means luxury experiences. That means travel. That means the hairdo goes from $50 to $800. Please believe I have been there. I can't even believe I'm sharing this with you. But yes, I have, and not even going to lie, this year spent $800 on a do. All right, there it is. We're in the same boat. We go together now. That happens, your lifestyle expands. However, the margin stays thin and the stress starts to increase. Making more money doesn't fix mismanagement. It just makes the mistakes more expensive, which is why we want to talk about these 4 numbers to get us in a better place. And I love this conversation too because a lot of us are in positions to make really big impact in this lifetime and beyond through legacy. We're here, sis. We've never had this many of us as college graduates. We've never earned this much money in the history of our existence in America. So it's not that we're not positioned to do this. It's just a matter of being intentional, like so many other decisions in our lives. And I believe that this is step 2 in only 4 steps to really change the game in your life and for legacy. I think there are 4 steps. The first step is decision. So, by you finding this podcast and listening to this episode, I know you're in the mindset of wanting to do something different to get better outcomes with your money. I know that you're sitting at home at night thinking, okay, where did all the money go? I know you are considering how to take care of your children who are going into college or those that are in college, and what will your life look like beyond once they are past that stage. And if you're really set up to retire, when does retirement happen? Like, I know all the things that are going through your mind right now. So you're at the stage of decision. Stage 2 is strategy. And that's really what this podcast is all about. We're going to talk about all of the different angles and possibilities and practical ideas, tips to get the strategy in place so that you can go to step 3, which is discipline. And I know most of the women listening to this podcast don't have an issue with discipline. You have gotten where you are because you are disciplined individuals. So give yourself that pat on the back, take your bow, and do a twirl if you like, because you've mastered discipline. We just need the strategy beforehand. And then lastly, once you have made the decision, you have the strategy, and you are a disciplined individual, it's about consistency. That's it. Those are the 4 steps. I will talk about those over and over again because I need it to be just that simple. However, that strategy piece is where topics like today come in. So I believe, again, there are 4 numbers that really need to be understood so that you can make smarter decisions for your money and create the life you want to live, build wealth your way. The first number is monthly burn. All right. This is how much your life actually costs to run. Like for real. Not the, yeah, I generally spend about $5,000 a month. No, it needs to be specific. If it is 4,688, then know that number. If it is 7,322, know the number. You have to know the number. So if you don't know the cost of your life, you can't afford to upgrade it. And I wanted that to land. So these are not estimates. These are not vibes. It's the actual number. I need you to sit down quietly by yourself and to go and get the number. So you may have to look at your bank account. For us entrepreneurs, we have to look at bank accounts. We have to look at P&Ls. We have to look at accounts receivable. We have to look at all the things. But you want to know what the number is. What does your housing cost? That is your rent or your mortgage, your utilities, your security system. I mean, all of it. What does it cost for your house to run? All right. Let's move on to your car, the car you drive. Is there a car note? You're paying car insurance. What is that? What about the maintenance and the gas? That is the number. Your insurance, that includes anything you're paying for health insurance, life insurance, all of the things. Your entertainment, your travel, your food, personal care, family. You need the number. You need to know your monthly burn. And honestly, when's the last time you calculated this? For me, I started this heavily back in 2020. I had done it before, but I was in a relationship, then post-divorce. I had a complete transformation of everything, and especially my finances. So I started a practice in 2022 where I go and sit. Since then, though, because of life switching and changing and increasing and decreasing things, I've needed to like revisit this on a monthly basis because, again, entrepreneur and life. So calculate your monthly burn. Now, retention is going to start with this awareness. You cannot keep what you don't track. So, I want to bring to your attention something that you may have to fight through and have to fight against in order to get this number and really the rest of the three numbers that we're going to discuss. Have you heard of the ostrich effect? It may not affect you. Maybe it's your cousin, your neighbor, your coworker, but sometimes there is a tendency for human beings to avoid unpleasant or negative things like financial bills, health concerns. And so, metaphorically, the idea is that you are burying your head in the sand, hoping the problem disappears. It is actually a cognitive bias, and it is very, very common. And the idea that if you don't look at it, you prevent short term discomfort, and knowing that it's going to be a big problem later, you still ignore it. And again, hand raised, I've been there. I have let success keep me from thinking that, oh, you don't need to deal with those little things because you're over here doing great things. No, 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 baby. And this is your wealthy big sister. I'm on this journey with you, so I know what this looks like. I was in a conversation with a friend of mine, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago or so, and they were in a position where they had moved quickly in their career to where they were earning more money than they ever had. And I'm talking, millionaire status. And as a matter of fact, whenever I talked about them to friends who we all knew, I would call them the baby millionaire. So, baby millionaire earned money very, very quickly. And with this money, lifestyle creep, I've already talked about it. And before they knew it, they're walking around in $1,400, I said it, $1,400 sweatshirts. Things shifted pretty drastically. And not only did the income go away, I mean, it stopped completely, immediately, no more, it is done. And there was an immediate mental state that they had to deal with that really put them in a bad position. And so for a good 6 months, they just stopped. They ignored the calls, the bills, the emails, the letters. They ignored them because it was just too painful and it didn't feel like there was a solution or answer. So instead of shifting to go and find a solution or an answer, they just stopped. They did not acknowledge where they were financially or mentally. And it was a rough period. However, God is good. They've moved on and they're going to do better than even before. So, all that to say, it happens. It happens to the best of us. And this is not just you. We have dealt with it. So, let me get back into number two. The second critical number that we really need to understand to be able to put ourselves in position to build wealth is your effective hourly rate. And let me give credit to Cody Sanchez for these four numbers. Now, these were numbers that have been on the forefront that we've probably thought about, but not in the way of a package deal, so to speak. So understanding these four numbers helps you make the right money moves. And I'm going to give credit to Cody Sanchez for putting them together in a post. She's amazing, by the way. We will talk about her at another time. I'm going to go over her book, Main Street Millionaires, in detail. I believe it is a game changer for those of us wanting to build a significant legacy. And by the way, if she ever hears this episode, sis, Can I interview you? I think you and I will have a great time together. So, anyway, I digress. The effective hourly rate is what you actually made last month divided by the hours you worked. Let me say that again. The effective hourly rate, that's number 2 in the 4 critical numbers you need. The effective hourly rate is what you actually made last month divided by the hours you worked. You may be wondering why that matters. It matters because this is not your salary, it's your real pay. So, for those of my corporate baddies out there listening, sure, you negotiated a salary. So, for all my corporate baddies out there, yes, you negotiated a salary, but this effective hourly rate is what you really get paid. And for us entrepreneurs, this is a little difficult. We need to average this over time. Don't trick yourself. I know you because I am you. For instance, last month, if I were to take my effective hourly rate from last month, I would look like a major rock star. I closed a couple real estate transactions. I am a real estate broker first and foremost. I specialize in commercial deals as well as luxury. So the commissions, they commiss. They look pretty. Plus, I had some consulting fees come in last month. So if you add my commissions and my consulting fees last month, I look like, oh, yeah, she's a trillionaire. Mm-mm. No, no, no. Because the month before that and the month before that, it wasn't as pretty. So be honest with yourself, entrepreneurs, for real. Some of us are so busy being busy, we don't even realize we're paying ourselves way less than we think. So know that number. And here again, I want to question your overworking. I want to question you possibly burning out. And I want to question this mindset that you can be successful but exhausted. Those things need to go out the door. All right. And this number will help bring that to reality. The third number I believe you need to know is your cash machine number. The third critical number I believe we all need to know is our cash machine number. This is how much money your assets generate every month. So some call this a freedom number, and I love that so much. But you're going to take a look at the rent that's coming from your real estate investments in your portfolio. You're going to take a look at your dividends. You're going to take a look at your business income, your profit, and your royalties. I know some of you are some creative baddies. So take a look at all of these assets. So these are not places where you are directly affecting your income. And if this number is 0, you're starting every month at 0, no matter how high your income is. This is important. And this is where the illusion takes place. Sure, you might get X dollars from a W-2 opportunity, but if you don't have a cash machine, then you are in such jeopardy, sis. What happens if ... I don't even need to finish for you. Now, we talked about more around this idea in previous episodes. Cash flow is a big episode that you want to go back and revisit if you don't have a concept or an idea of how this plays into the bigger wealth picture. All right. I want to move on to the fourth critical number, and that is the wealth gap. It is the gap between what you make and what you spend. And this is different from your dream life wealth target, which I have talked about in depth. Your wealth gap, again, is the gap between what you make and what you spend. If the gap is tiny, you're going to stay stuck. If there is a big gap, you buy assets, and those assets need to buy you freedom. So this really speaks for me to those women who are considering this investment or that investment, or should I, pay down debt, or should I invest and pay down debt? Should I have a high yield savings account, or there's a whole lot of shoulds in that little monologue. answers those shoulds. If there is a wealth gap, a gap between what you make and what you spend, you got to fix it. Your number one concern is cash flow. That's it. Cash flow. Think about all those other things after there is positive cash flow. Positive cash flow. Then once you see a gap between what you make and what you spend, then you start having conversations around assets, but not before. We got to fix the cash flow issue first. All right. And debate me if you want. I'm going to stick by it because I know this personally, in depth, with tears strained pillowcases. I know what this feels like. So we got to fix the gap. All right. So those are the 4 critical numbers that you need to be extremely aware of. All right. This is the high earner trap. It's not knowing what this is. So those 4 numbers to summarize are your monthly burn, your effective hourly rate, the cash machine number, and your wealth gap. So pause this episode if you'd like, bookmark it, and please write down these 4 numbers. There's no judgment, no spiraling. It's just truth that you're after. So, is this a fix it and forget it type of conversation? No, it's a fix it and revisit it conversation. Let me give you some encouragement. You don't need 100 hacks. You don't need another income stream yet. What you want out of this is clarity. That's the first step. Get the clarity, and then we can work on the strategy. High earners don't stay stuck because they lack money. They stay stuck because they never slowed down long enough to manage it. So, here is my call to action for you. Love yourself enough to sit down this week and calculate those 4 numbers. Then pick one number that you want to improve over the next 90 days. Now, when it comes to building wealth your way, I strongly believe in the fact that we are not all in the same place. We might all look alike, we're pretty, we're cute, we're doing big things. However, your journey, even if we're in the same, maybe financial metrics, are still different than my journey. I have a different background. I have a different journey. I have different responsibilities. So you have to pick the one number that is going to make the most impact and improve it. Focus on improving it over the next 90 days. And that's even significant. We have to allow grace in our lives. I don't think we as women do a great enough job of allowing grace for ourselves. We extend it to everyone else but ourselves. So pick the number, give yourselves 90 days to improve the number, and then you can report back. You can send me an email. You don't even have to use your real name. I can be your accountability partner and nobody has to know. The last thing I'm going to ask you is to share this episode with a high-earning friend who you know feels behind. It's a lot of us, all right? You heard the statistics at the beginning of this episode. There are a lot of us, and we don't talk enough about it. What we do is reach out and say, hey, you want to go to brunch? Or, hey, are you going to this event or that event? Or we want to talk about all of that surface stuff, and it's cute. We like to look pretty and go out. That's great. We work hard, so I get it. And a lot of us are behind. So just keep that in mind. So this week, calculate the 4 numbers, pick one number to improve over the next 90 days, and share this episode. Can you do that? I think you can. All right, everyone. This is your wealth building big sister, Darice Rene, and I look forward to hearing what you thought about this episode. And that's a wrap on this episode of Money, Legacy, and Her. I hope you're walking away with the insight and the fire you need to take your next bold step. Because when women build wealth, we shift generations. If this episode spoke to you, subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more women find this movement. Want more? Head to moneylegacypodcast.com to get connected and grab tools to support your legacy journey. This is Darice Rene signing off. Stay focused, stay powerful, and keep making money moves with purpose.